This is The Scene
on BBC Radio London with Aurie Styla.
This is The Scene.
Aurie Styla, BBC Radio London. This is The Scene. I've got all my guests in the building. We were talking some stuff off air that I'm not going to continue now because I just don't want to, but it was hilarious. We're going to talk about other things. What's going on? Can you guys hear me? Can I hear you? What's going on? Talk.
Hi.
All right, there we go. There we go. Nice. All right. So who's in the building is Mr. Daniel Nero. We got Dan Marsh. We got Lavena Lavena back, and also my entertainment correspondent and co-producer today of the show, Akua. What's going on?
I'm cool. How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. Gonna try to be nice to you today. I'm done. I can't.
He doesn't know what that means.
As soon as she did that face, I was like, why am I even trying?
Do you ever try?
Why am I even trying? I do try. But then you like breathe and I'm like, oh, why? Let me just give this up. We got a love-hate relationship, right?
Hate.
Nah, it's love-hate. It's love-hate. So, we got some topics to discuss. I touched on them a bit earlier on. Let's go with the heavier one, which I think is quite important to discuss amongst all of us here. It's about billboards that are aiming to change the stereotypes that Afro hair is unprofessional. I'm going to kind of kick it off with this. Have you ever been in an environment, whether it be education or work, where they've told you that your appearance is unacceptable? And I feel like this is something that happens more so with the women than it does the men in this department, in particular with hair, because of styling your hair in different ways. So I'm going to ask Akua first. What about you?
Well, the Project Embrace campaign, which is what where your topic comes from, Lakia Lee runs it, and she's been running it for a couple of years. And my daughter was actually part of the campaign last year.
Nice.
And my daughter, I've always worked in creative industries, so from a hairdresser to here, so it's all right. We can go freaky, and it's not going to be frowned upon. I've never worked in corporate. However, my daughter actually going through school, she was teased a lot for having natural hair because a lot of her friends had relaxed hair, weaved hair. And people used to say to her, like, why is your hair like that? Why can't you straighten your hair? It was an actual thing that she experienced. So actually, with the auditions for last year's Project Embrace campaign, her story was what actually got her through because she was bullied quite a lot and targeted. She looks banging on the campaign, and the new campaign is actually is talking about work. Last year's was like a beauty campaign. This year is more about photographing people who in their business attire and saying, like, challenging the notion that specifically Afro hair is unprofessional.
Okay.
But there's so many other things that come into play when it comes to, being so-called respectable at work and schools. There's been a few kids with dreadlocks and stuff that have been told to leave the school and so forth and so on.
Okay. Well, you come from a creative industry, so there is a lot more of a liberal kind of look at how you style your hair. But what about somebody who's come from a business development background and law background? I mean, for you, have you ever been looked at in terms of how you do your hair or style it, and people say you need to kind of do it a particular way?
Fortunately, I've actually not experienced anything like that.
Oh, nice.
But I know people that have, and it's it's disheartening to see them and go through that experience. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not one to be able to express anything because I've not gone through it. So
yeah, I have at school. Mine was similar to your daughter's one at school, but mine came from the school itself that said that I went to like a boarding school. And they had an idea of how it was all boys as well. So a young boy's hair should be done in this particular way. But this was done, school's like 450 years old. This was done in the earlier days when there was no Afro hair in the school. So our styling was very different. If we had like short side or a skin fade at the side and top, apparently to them it would say, well, your hair's not all level one time. It doesn't look good. You need to have it all level in one thing. It was really weird.
Strange rules.
Yeah, you can't. How do you set rules? In fact, for them, if I had a little afro, that would be acceptable. Yeah, there's a little one. It was a little afro would be acceptable. Yeah, like a Norbit kind of. You know what I mean?
Little biffro.
Yeah, little biffro. Yeah. Which for me, and I wear glasses, I got a similar head shape. So for me, I didn't. Not the best, bruv. But for them, if you had like a fade at the side, it wasn't cool. In work environments, I've never experienced it. I grew out my hair long. I've had long braids and stuff. I've got braids at the top of my head now. But back then, in school, you couldn't have braids. You're mad. They would look at me like I'm trying to be like Predator.
We had a stage when I was younger, when girls used to wear like loads of hairbands in their hair.
Yeah.
I think that was like flaunting the rules a bit. They were like really colourful, and we'd go in and just really have loads. They didn't like that. But,
It says here as well, New York recently made it a crime to discriminate against natural Afro hairstyles in the workplace, which shows just how significant the problem is. But the UK currently has no such law. Dan Marsh is from New York. Do you find that, have you heard any stories of this happening out there where people are not allowed the job or told to change their hair or completely cut it off if they've got locks or anything of that nature for a professional environment?
Yeah, I've come across a few people who, in their work history, have had situations where they weren't promoted simply because they had locked hair.
Okay.
Or they were suggested to remove their hair in order to excel at companies. But some people kind of just stick to their guns. And kind of set out on their own. In those cases, people just kind of went out and just became entrepreneurs because, the corporate world really wasn't designed for them to be themselves culturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing. It's sad to know that you can't succeed or couldn't in time succeed based on the way your hair was styled. But if it pushes you to go do your own thing, that's a positive out of a negative, I guess.
True.
And Daniel, you've never really had long hair. You've always had it kind of trimmed.
No, I had Afro when I was a baby.
What job was you working then, bruv?
The only picture I was butt naked and a little ute, so no one was really worrying about how my hair was at the work when I was doing it them times a year. But the only thing that I could really say is that like people used to like be at my shape up because my dad used to do it. But so, but it wasn't really where like the fact that it was Afro or anything. It was just because it was trash, really. So.
Yeah. They're trying to save some money in that.
Yeah. Big up daddy though, but yeah, I took a few L's because of that.
You have to. You kind of have to.
Not because of that, but obviously I know it happens, and a few of my friends have this happened to them, and so it's good that it's being addressed.
So where's the line in terms of trying to style yourself a particular way? Because let's go a little more outside of hair. Where's the line where somebody should at least look a particular way for a professional environment? Because then what if we were saying piercings, tattoos, or tattoos in places which you cannot cover up, so teardrops on your face and also that? No, it's a real thing.
That's an issue then, isn't it? Really, I don't know. That you're right. Where do you draw the line? Because we're in a stage in society where we have to be very liberal and we have to be very careful with what we say and how we look at people and what they look like and etc and how we describe them. So it's extremely difficult to draw any sort of line because there's always a group that will be at you for drawing that line because you need to push that line an extra bit further to include them. So I don't think I wouldn't be able to think of any line where you could draw without upsetting or antagonizing some sort of group or person.
I guess if you worked in, let's say, Lavena, what law firm, right? The lawyers that you would have studied with, worked with, even if it's only for a small period of time, probably don't have face tattoos, nose and ear piercings, like loads of them and stuff. And I guess with many firms, it's almost like representation. You are like the look of how our firm would like to be represented. Yeah,
it's the type of profession you're in, I think. Especially when you're doing a client-facing role, it's different. So you do have to dress appropriately and have things like piercings removed, I guess.
But what's appropriately though? That's the difficult bit.
That's a weird one.
No, I'm not trying to stick it on you. But
without offending people. Because what I think is appropriate might be different for what you think is appropriate. But where we draw the line, I don't think you can really. Because you're always going to have someone that's not happy.
Right.
Yeah,
very
exactly.
True.
This is why, I mean, I feel like when it comes to Afro hair how it's styled is natural for us. Because it's basically how our hair grows. If I was to not style my hair a particular way and I just comb it out every day, literally just comb, it's going to do that. It's gonna grow outwards, right? I feel like if you look at someone and say your hair is not tidy enough for me because it's growing the way that it grows, then for me, I'd say that's a line. You cannot put down because you can't tell me that how my hair naturally grows is wrong. Whereas if I decide to put like anarchy across my nose, that's a choice I made to draw something on my face.
Yeah.
That's when I'm like, okay, maybe. There's a line because I chose that, whereas I can't choose how my hair grows. That would be me.
Right.
Yeah.
I
feel like So I feel like this is a great campaign to raise awareness that Afro hair is not unprofessional. It is natural for many of us.
Exactly.
Many of us.
And we should embrace it.
Project Embrace.
I remember your hair was curly in some of your pictures. It looked really nice curly, definitely.
Thank you.
And then it's straight now, but it's curly before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're well.
What's going on? Okay, I mean, what?
Akua's hair's lovely, but I can't say it weren't curly. No, she looks good. What I'm saying is it wasn't curly yesterday.
Pardon?
Akua, I'm just saying the hair wasn't curly yesterday.
Me?
You got a trim, and it looks great, but it wasn't. You didn't have like long curls yesterday, and it's straight.
Long curls a couple of years ago.
There you go.
Okay.
That's all right. All right, next one. Let's talk. Let's lighten up a little before she headbutts me. P. Diddy and Lori Harvey. Do you see any pictures of them over the weekend?
Oh my God.
Is that the young girl?
Lori Harvey, Steve Harvey's stepdaughter.
She's young, isn't she?
She's 22.
Was she? And is it true that she was dating his son?
That was alleged.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I heard about that.
I've got a source. I'm joking. I don't.
Oh, excuse me.
Bomb drop.
So how old's Diddy?
Diddy's 49.
And how old is this girl?
22.
Wild.
Oh wow, that's like me basically going out with Diddy.
That's basically Imagine you going out with Diddy.
That is not a vibe.
Wild.
It's not a vibe,
He could be
no.
a dad.
He could. Yeah, he could
22.
be. Well, his son is 25, so yes, he could be.
I don't oppose.
Wow.
You don't oppose?
He's American, so that must.
Well, no,
must
I mean,
look
I feel
different.
like if you like it, I love it. You know, if they're happy, then why not? You know,
I saw Steve's face in those pictures. He did not look too happy there the whole day.
I understand, you know, but at the same time, you know, that's his daughter. She's got to live her life. If he's a good guy to her, I don't see why there's an issue.
He's not.
Can your daughter, when she's
22.
bring home uncle aged boyfriend,
nearly 50,
daddy aged boyfriend, would you be all right first? Like,
if he's a good guy, I would not mind.
okay.
Yeah.
That is commendable, and I just feel that
As
you
a
deserve
father
pat on your
yourself.
back.
Because I mean, I would rather be supportive of my child in making a choice towards a healthy relationship with somebody secure
That's true.
than to be with somebody who's young and not know what they want to do and possibly be abusive.
It's crazy
Because in America, like it is a thing that younger people, early 20s,
Over here
teens,
too.
they're like abuse is an actual thing that happens.
Yeah.
It's a problem. So I would much rather them be in a secure situation than to, you know.
I get. Okay.
Yeah.
What
So
about,
I mean, like,
what about a secure situation with a 25-year-old or a secure situation with a 49-year-old?
it's kind of hard because it's wisdom over youth. So it's like
I get
he
that.
moves better. I mean, look at his life. How could you be mad at that?
No. All right. So
Like my daughter is with this greatly successful man
And I get
who's
that.
a great father. Why
all right,
not?
So the other one, my thinking is, and I'm not disagreeing with
Right.
you. I'm just seeing another perspective, right? Because I'm looking at a mother of a 19-year-old now. My perspective is, I would look at the man who's
Right.
49 and say, what is it you needed a 22-year-old? Like, what is it that you wanted in life that you had to look at a 22-year-old for? If that makes, in terms of levels of maturity or experience or understanding. I mean, I'll be me. So, Lavena, you're 22, right?
23.
23.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm 31.
Yeah.
Right. Even though I talk to Lavena and she's mature and I'm cool and talk to her and I don't feel like there's a big gap. There's going to be something at some point where I say something like, "Do you remember that? Do you remember E17? Yeah, when they hit that and they came and she'll be like, I wasn't born then." And I'm going to feel like, all right, the gap is
Right.
I'll fill the gap then, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just more so. It just comes down to the relationship, the two people.
Okay.
As long as you can move with those, just move flow. It's like nothing is gonna be easy, no matter what the relationship is. You know, it could be that might be the only thing that the issue is. You could be dating someone who has their head on their shoulders, is moving in a great direction, has a future. They just might be 10 or 15 years younger than you. And
What if it was the other way around, where he was like, all right, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Aaron Taylor-Johnson, right?
Yeah.
He played Quicksilver in the Avengers and so he's been in loads of films, right? He's married to 50 Shades of Grey director Sam Taylor-Johnson, who is 52 years old. So he's 27, she's 52. What about that way around?
it's fine.
I like how liberal you are.
Have any of you guys, the men in the room, dated someone 10 years old?
10 years
not
older.
That old?
Oh
No.
my gosh.
50 something? No.
No, I haven't. I haven't.
10 years older is...
But you wouldn't. From that reaction.
I'm just no. Now, being serious.
All the aunties listening.
Being serious, yeah.
Daniel
Being
Nero.
serious. And you know what? Yeah. Do you know what? I want to shake your hand because what you said was very true, and I totally agree with you. But in spite of that,
Okay.
I'm just thinking, yeah. 49.
49.
So I'm thinking, I'm 31.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, and how old is she? 22.
22.
I'm 31. Yeah. And I'm thinking, even at like 25, I'm thinking that's still like there's so much that's gonna be different between what do I need from what do I need?
It's not about the need though. I think that's where we get it confused as humans. It's like I don't own you, you know, where I don't where you should be complete when entering a relationship.
Okay,
you should know
from
yourself.
That perspective, I see.
Like like. And I think that's where the hiccup comes in, because it's like, well, what does this person need from someone that age? But at the same time,
does a 22-year-old know herself though? Because I've changed over the years.
But none of us know ourselves truly until we die. So like we're always going to be growing.
No.
We're always like I'm completely different than I was 10 years ago.
That's true. And in 10 years' time, you'll be different again.
I'm going to be different. So even with Diddy's progression as a person, as a father, you know. He's become better and better and better over the years. And why not be with somebody who you can love and admire at the same time?
Okay.
But then I guess he can also make her grow as well as a person. Yeah. But can I just say, Diddy's track record
is a bit
iffy.
Extremely iffy.
I mean, Cassie's how old?
But he doesn't have any bad rap from it.
That's very true. I've never heard
anything negative about him about relationships.
I'll be real. I've never heard anyone real talk bad. The only thing I've heard, the last thing was his partner who passed away.
Yes,
mother. Yes,
she endured.
They said that she that they look at Diddy and say, why did you not marry her? That's the only thing I've really heard bad. Right. But marrying someone is not a measure of them being a bad person.
Exactly.
No, yeah.
So yeah, I get it from that angle, but I don't know if I was. I mean, I saw Steve's face, innit?
But if I had a daughter, yeah, and she, thank God I don't, to be honest. If I had a daughter and she came home with even my son, if my son was 49 and he came home with a 22-year-old, I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, come on, fix up, bro. Like, what is wrong with you? Like,
yeah, so you'd be like,
yeah, like, come on, man. I mean, after, I'd probably get to your stage, but. At the beginning, I'd be like, I'd be like, bro,
it's a shock.
Come on, man, sort your life out, bro. Like, what's going on? Where did you even meet her?
For that.
Where did you meet her?
Yeah,
she is fire though.
Like she is fire. Like
everyone Laurie on their wish list. I'm sorry.
She's fire. At the beginning, it's like, oh, that's different, but now it's like,
it's not about that.
It's not about looks.
All right.
I mean, I understand where I understand where Diddy's coming from. Like that wasn't in question. Like, I understand what he's trying to do.
Yeah, but
I don't understand what Steve's trying to do.
Steve was trying to learn, like, maybe I can see the positive in this.
It's Diddy.
Yeah. Huh? Right. It's a different person.
That's the thing. It's Diddy, though. Yeah. It is Diddy.
How would you react? Yeah.
It'd be a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, my daughter's dad would react in a certain way too.
That would be it'd
be a conversation. It's almost, however, they'd have to prove that it's real some way.
I spoke we got to go to you straight in a second, but I spoke to Eddie before when we did the crossover from Eddie Nestor, right? And he said if my daughter gets with a guy who's that age, 49, and my daughter's 22, but he's got like 700 million, I've lost my daughter. And the reason he said that is because that man can provide more than I ever could. Yeah, he could go back in time and do better, literally with the money that he has. That is. I would love my daughter, but there's somebody else there that completely could take care of her a lot more than I could at this particular moment in time. And when he said that, he didn't say anything like he wouldn't be able to love his daughter, or that wouldn't be his daughter. It'd be more so like if it was any ragamuffin down the road, yeah. Just any old riffraff that says, well, go on, what are you saying? And I'm 49, you're 22. And he hasn't got a penny to, like 2 pennies to scrap together.
That's interesting, though, because the ragamuffin down the street could have a great heart,
Yes, he could.
Offer security in a different type of way.
Of course.
But he couldn't take her on a yacht. That's the thing.
yacht.
You
Someone said, but we talk
couldn't
about
take her on a
material
yacht.
things,
No,
right.
I feel like I feel the fact that he is Diddy does help.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Does help.
It does.
He's a lifestyle, isn't it?
Listen,
Yeah,
Right, absolutely.
Entire lifestyle and a mood.
listen, we got to give it to you. I know we went over time with that one, but this is all for you now. So Akua is our
That's a
entertainment
speed
correspondent.
through.
Speed through this. Talk to us. What's going on?
Okay, so last week the trailer dropped for Queen and Slim, which looks freaking amazing.
Yes.
So basically, it stars an Oscar-nominated Daniel Kaluuya, British black talent, who we last saw in Widows. He plays Slim, and then we have newcomer Jodie Turner-Smith. She plays Queen. She was in Night Flyers and a sci-fi show on Netflix. Did you not watch it?
I have watched it.
Oh, okay, cool. It's directed by Melina Matsoukas. She's the director and producer of Insecure and Beyonce's Formation. It's written by the great Lena Waithe, who based the script on a story by James Frey, author of the brilliant books A Million Little Pieces and Katerina.
Nice.
So basically, Queen and Slim is the kind of Bonnie and Clyde type thing against the backdrop of a stressful racial climate in modern day America. Queen and Slim are on a first date when an overzealous, menacing cop pulls them over for a traffic violation. The encounter turns deadly with Slim shooting the cop in self-defense, which is caught on camera, goes viral, they go on the run, and then become folk heroes to people across the country. So I'm excited. This is coming out in November. Can't wait.
It's going to be good.
I'm going to talk about this again most probably.
No,
but yeah.
I know you will.
Yeah, I have to because it's going to be great. Next up is Hobbs and Shaw. I don't know if you've been to see it already.
Ain't seen it yet. Don't say a word. I want to see it. I've heard it's good.
Okay, so I didn't go to see it this time. I let the homie DJ Ace from my brother station one extra
Ace
go.
went, yeah.
And he rated it actually 92.5 out of 100.
That's what I'm saying. I heard it's good.
So basically, he says what I've heard most people saying as well, that Hobbs and Shaw is a brilliant spin-off from the Fast and Furious franchise. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Luke Hobbs and Jason Statham as Declan Shaw. It's all nonsensical, ridiculous, all the drama of Fast and Furious, cars, guns, action, all that type of
And a
craziness.
black Superman.
And Idris Elba kills it as Brixton, the villain.
Do you know what I loved is the fact that they wanted a villain and they
they
said,
called him-
what's the most negative name we could think of? And they said Brixton.
Brixton ain't negative. It's like the most London black name ever.
They should have said
exactly.
Beckham.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have
Peckham.
Peckham.
Yeah, Peckham, but Peckham
That'd be
would.
interesting.
But
With an N.
Brixton sounds like it has power. Peckham just sounds like it was like a bad guy, but more conniving. With no powers, just conniving and smelly.
Okay.
I'm joking. Lavena, don't laugh. Stop laughing. It's not funny. It's
I'm
rude.
not from Peckham, but Peckham people come through. Aurie Styla on all his social medias. So Ace said that basically Idris is, as Brixton is one of the best villains Fast and Furious franchise has ever had. So that's big talking. Don't know what this means for the franchise, but everyone's over here filming episode 9. I've seen Ludacris twice.
Can I just say, Ludacris watched my story
Did
and loved
he?
when I was doing
Wicked.
like spoof videos and stuff, and he was like, "Bro, this is dope. I just want to carry on."
Wicked, well
so Fred
done.
went out there, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he didn't need
Tried to
Love
rain on-
Island for that attention.
But wait, he tried to rain on my site, and I just said I saw Ludacris twice, said hello to him and everything. But okay, you came with your story. Thanks.
He inboxed me. Carry on.
Doesn't matter. He's my best friend. Anyway,
Carry
it's
on,
in cinemas now.
Yes.
Go watch it. And what else? There's Barbershop Chronicles, which has returned
Wicked.
after its first showing at the National Theatre back in 2017. It's now at Camden's Roundhouse. It is phenomenal. The story moves from barbershop to barbershop, from Peckham to Johannesburg, Harare, Kampala, Lagos and Accra over the course of a single day. It's just a brilliant piece which cleverly tells one central story, but as they transition from barbershop to barbershop, country to country, the way the jokes and characters and folklore twist and turn and evolve, ultimately highlighting that no matter where you go, we're all the same, we're all connected, or at least living similar existences. It's an all-male cast of brilliant talent, including Tom Mucci, Demi Ladipo and Mohamed Mansoureh, and many, many more. It's written by Inua Elams, don't know if I said that, and it's at the Camden Roundhouse until 24th of August. And just a quick one for the kids, because I know it's school holidays and everyone's going crazy. So Dora and the Lost City of Gold. So my daughter grew up loving Dora the Explorer. I loved Dora the Explorer because of my daughter. What's wrong with you? Swiping, no swiping. Does everyone get that reference?
I was a Dora fan.
Yeah, there you go. So what's your problem?
My thing is, like, where were the parents when she was on these explorations?
She left her abuela at home.
Yeah.
And she told abuela, I'm going to go and do...
Abuela is their gran, and as far as I'm
Yes.
concerned, what kind of irresponsible
Her and her
abuela?
cousin Diego went on adventures. What?
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
There's nah.
No,
They was just
With a
playing
magic
out.
map
There's Via
and her
Loco.
rocks backpack.
Yeah, I don't business. Carry on.
So anyway, my daughter went...
Social services
and
on Dora.
she
That's
said
what I want.
No, I think... No, leave Dora alone. She's exploring life.
Okay.
Just spoiled my story. Anyway, it's really good. It's a live action adaptation of the cartoon. It's in cinemas on the 16th of August. And one quick thing. There's a new theatre in White City. It's taken over the space that used to be BBC Media Village in West London.
Oh, nice.
And it's called the Troubadour White City Theatre. It consists of 2 flexible spaces, including a 1,200-seater theatre, an 800 multi-purpose theatre, and basically it's just showing a load of things. I don't know if it's going to be there forever, but it's like a pop-up, and it's just this new cultural part of West London. So they're showing Peter Pan this Saturday, which runs until 27th of October, Monstersaurus till the 11th of August, the Very Hungry Caterpillar Show till September, and Aliens Love Underpants also till September. And they've got some adult things like Dinosaur World Live, Warhorse, and other things like that. So get down to White City, and that's it.
Which Peter Pan? That's the important question.
Oh, jeez, it's a stage performance.
Theatre.
I literally said the tube. Oh, mate.
I heard you.
Thank you.
Never mind.
Thank you.
I heard you.
Guys, listen, we got to wrap it up, right? I want you to big up your social media so people can get in contact. We'll go from one side of the room to the other. Daniel Nero, what's yours?
Yeah, so it's at Daniel X Nero on pretty much everything that I use. Yep. So you can find me there.
Nice. Lavena back.
Mine is at Lavena back _ So shout me out, guys.
Nice. Don't throw that out there. You listen. Too much guys already sliding in. Stop it, Miss Love Island. Yeah.
No boys.
Really? Trying to focus on life. Remember, Dan Marsh.
Dan Marsh Music on every platform.
Nice. And Akua.
Well, the British Blacklist is my media platform. You can find me all across that, Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and the website, which ends with .co.uk. And I'm also here being tormented by Aurie every 2 Mondays.
I don't know what show you're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aurie Styla, and you can follow me at Aurie, AURIE, Styla, STYLA. Thank you to my great guests for coming down. We've had some good combo. We had a performance as well. We had some entertainment catch-up. We had some insight to Love Island. We just get a load of laughs from Daniel. Much appreciated, sir. I'll be back next week. Next week I'll be back, but right now it's to the amazing Duncan Barks. Do not go anywhere. Take care. It's a scene. We're out of here. Later.